Oma Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Shagrajatam Shagaradatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahaganalanta Sri Visakanvitam Cha Hey Krishna Karuna Shindu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Panglunam Hare Girim Yat Kripat Maham Vande Shri Gurun Dinata. Hare Krishna. So welcome to all the devotees who is present here. Yeah, today is supposed to be our final session of our Bhakti Shastri. Yeah. So I'm not saying that by hook or crook we have to finish out everything today, but hopefully we can manage to finish the session today, the whole 18 chapters, the Bhagavad Gita, and you have a lot of time to prepare for your exam, writing your essays, and so on. Okay. So in the previous class, we have discussed how Arjuna asked the two questions, the difference between sannyas and also tyaga. Yeah. So we understand that from Srila Prabhupada's purport and the previous Acharya's commentary that ultimately both are the same. Yeah. Basically, no more material activities. Because sannyas means you give up work based on material desire, and then tyaga means you still working, but you renounce the fruits of your work. So both are the same. Renouncing the work of fruits, renouncing the fruit of your work, meaning also that there is no material desire because you offer everything to Krishna. So that's how one frees himself from the bondage, from the result of the karma through karma yoga. So we'll continue from text number 13. Yeah. So 13 to 15, Jnana Yoga. Here we will be discussing the 5 factors of action. And then 19 to 40, the modes of nature. How the modes of nature actually, they are in control of our activities. Yes. Text number 13. O mighty Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of this from me. Yeah. So Prabhupada's purport, how is that the person in Krishna consciousness does not suffer or enjoy the reaction of work? The ultimate control is invested in super soul. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya Chaham Hridisani Vistaha 15.15. He is engaging everyone in certain activities by reminding himself of his past action, and Krishna conscious acts done under his direction from within yield no reaction. See, we have heard the statement many times from different devotees, and sometimes we read also that for devotees, karma no longer affecting the devotees. Yeah, those who are fully surrendered, those who are fully surrendered devotees, no more karmic reaction. But sometimes, and not only sometimes, we face the reality that we're still affected by karma. Yeah, it doesn't mean that once we surrender to Krishna, once we join Krishna consciousness movement, we are completely free from karmic reaction. Whatever we have done in the past, we have to enjoy or suffer at present. But the thing is that the bodies are not affected by the situation. Let's take, for example, grandfather Bhishma. Yeah, Bhishma Pitamaha. He is a pure devotee of the Lord. Yeah, he's a pure devotee of the Lord, and but he suffered on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So he was laying on the bed of arrow. It is described in the Mahabharata that the space between two arrows is less than two fingers like this on his body. So that means the arrow is piercing his bone, his skin, his everything. Yeah. And then when Krishna came, he asked Krishna, "My Lord, I'm fully surrendered to you. So how come I suffer this kind of karma?" And Krishna says, "Well, first of all, you are there to oppose my pure devotees. You shoot arrows on my devotees, the Pandavas. Uh, You are choosing the opposite party." And then Bhishma said that, Lord, every time I throw my arrows to Arjun, I always pray, Jayastu Panduputranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. May all victory goes to the Pandavas. Every time he shoot arrows, he prayed that to Krishna. May all victories goes to Pandava. And then why I still suffer this karma? Bhishma asking. He, Bhishma, actually, he could see 100 lifetimes before. And Bhishma said to Krishna, as far as I remember, I have done nothing wrong, which actually brings me this karma. 100 lifetimes before. And then Krishna said, yes, that's 100 lifetimes. But in 101 lifetime before, you were a king. Bhishma was a king. And then he went out for a battle. And when he returned, he was victorious. When he returned, so he wanted to, um, immediately come home and meet his family. Those days there is no WhatsApp, email, easily you can call, hey, I'm winning the battle, so please cook lunch for me. So he was like on the way, running toward his palace, and then on the street there was a snake. There was a snake. So unconsciously, he just, because he doesn't want to trample the snake, he just pick up the snake using his bow and then throw it to the bush. But what happened? He didn't pay attention to what happened to that snake. That snake ended up in a thorny bush, by which all his body pierced by thorns. So that karmic reaction is affecting his life now, after 101 lifetimes. And then Krishna asked Bhishma, okay, now you are laying on the bed of arrows. Do you feel the pain? And Bhishma said, no, I don't feel the pain. That's the effect of your devotional service. Yeah. You may get the reaction of your karma, but you don't get affected. So now this has happened in many devotees' life. We are facing, trouble because of our karma, but we know how to react, by which actually we will not be affected. We cannot stop karma. It will react anyway, but we know how to deal with karma. How we deal, tatenu kampam susamikshama ubunjana evat makritam vipakam. We think that, yes, I deserve this because of my previous misdeeds. And that is the mercy of the Lord, yeah, by which actually these miseries brings me closer to Krishna. And then we are not so sorrow so much, yeah. We are not affected by that. So that's the explanation about devotee, because this topic is raising up many times, and many devotees think that as soon as I join Krishna consciousness movement, no more karma. No, karma will be there. But the art is that we know how to deal with karma and thinking, and only thinking that that is the mercy of the Lord. Yeah, that's it. Text number 40. So this is the 5 factors of action. The place of action means the kshetragya, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the 5 factors of action. Prabhupada's purport, but all one's activities depend on the will of the super soul, which seated within the heart as a friend. The Supreme Lord is the super cause. Under these circumstances, he who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the super soul situated within the heart is naturally not bound by any activity. Those in complete Krishna consciousness are not ultimately responsible for their actions. Everything is dependent on the supreme will, the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead. So now let's see one by one of this. Yeah, the body first is the body, and then the performer. What does it mean, the performer here? Performer is actually the consciousness which is reflected in the false ego. Yeah, of course, we see that in the 3rd chapter, Krishna says, Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarva. So our activities is actually conducted by the 3 modes of original nature. We are not the doer. But here Krishna mentions that the performer, who is the performer, is actually the consciousness reflected in the false ego, meaning the jiva itself. Yeah, the jiva is taking part in action. So when we say that we are not the doer, that means there are another factors of activities. And of course, ultimately, we are not the doer. Everything is sanctioned by Krishna. Yeah. Without Krishna's sanction, without the super soul sanctions, nothing will happen. Yeah. But here, why the jiva is also one of the 5 factors? Because he desired that action to happen. So he actually inducing Krishna to sanction. Just like a small child, who cry to his father or mother, wanting something. Although the parents sometimes know that's not really good, but the child keep crying. So sometimes the parents become lenient. Let's say like the child wanting to uh, play a video game. Of course, for us devotees, we don't do this practice, but sometimes we become lenient toward our child. This is not good at all. But instead of this child is bothering us so much and he cry like anything, so just give for a moment. So we sanction that action. So the jiva is also one part of the factor of the action. So the body, the karta or the jiva, the performer, the various senses, the indriyas, the many different kinds of endeavor. Yeah, endeavor is also matter here. And ultimately the super soul. Yeah. And then text number 15. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Yeah. The word right and wrong are very significant in this verse. Right work is work done in terms of the prescribed directions in the scriptures. And wrong work is work done against principles of the scriptural injunctions. But whatever is done requires these 5 factors for its complete performance. Okay, we have discussed this, what is right and what is wrong. Yeah. In the that verse where it is mentioned, yeah, Sastra Vedi Mutsija Vartate Kamakara. Yeah. So the divine and demoniac nature. chapter 16, yeah, it's discussed about this. So the divine, they follow the scriptures, and the demoniac, they against the scriptures. Yeah. But both work, whether it is good or bad, requires these five factors. Like 16, therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the five factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. Although the material causes are the place, the worker, the endeavor, and the senses, the final cause is the supreme, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should see not only the four material causes, but the supreme efficient cause as well. One who does not see the supreme thinks himself to be the doer. So this is clear. Yeah. Ultimately, all actions should be sanctioned by Krishna. So there is a question here in the chat section by Prana Vallabha. I heard that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur asked his disciples to kill the snake. When Srila Prabhupada inquires, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, they are so envious, we can kill this snake. How to understand in Bhishma Dev's case? Can you please explain? This is another diversion. Diversion from the topic. But anyway, because I talk about Bhishma Dev, yes, Prahlad Maharaj said when his father Hiranyakashipu was killed, he said that uh, uh, how is that? Vrischika Sharpahatya. That's how the verse goes. Sadhu will be happy, will be very jubilant when there is snake or a scorpion is killed. You know, even the sadhu. You know, uh, I, I I forgot the first word of the verse, but anyway, that's how it goes. Vrischika Sharpahatya. Modito Sadur Api. Modito Sadur Api Vrischika Sharpahatya. So yes, because snake is very envious. Yeah, snakes and scorpions. Yeah, one time, that's true. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur uh, asked his disciple to kill snake, and his disciple said that, the snake didn't do any harm to us. Why should we kill? And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur quoted that verse. Yeah, Bodhito Sadhu Api Vrishchika Sarpatya. So when a snake or scorpion are killed, so even a sadhu becomes jubilant because these two animals are envious. So now how to understand? Yeah, thank you so much. Now how to understand this pastime in connection with Bhishma. Um, the point here is that karma will work anyway. Yeah, karma will work anyway. But as the devotees, we don't fully surrendered devotees. Fully surrendered devotees. I'm talking about fully surrendered devotees. They will not be affected. They will not be affected by the karmic reaction. So it's kind of contradiction, but for now, let's leave it aside. It's a big thing to discuss here. But nothing wrong with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur because his action is based on Shastra also. Yeah, but that's the principle. Karma will work just like, anyway, I don't want to go too much into this. Karma will work anyway, but yeah, uh, actually, in that pastimes, uh, if we analyze deeply, the snake that thrown by Bhishma did not die, immediately. Yeah, did not die immediately. Ultimately, the snake dies, but that snake did not die immediately because so many thorns piercing his body, and then it is described that because snake doesn't have hands, to remove the thorn. So what that snake did, he tried to manage to scratch his body in the bushes in order to get rid of the thorns, but instead more thorn piercing, more thorns piercing, and that snake has to suffer a lot, you know. Uh, so if you want to kill the snake, it is permissible because Shastra says so, but you have to kill immediately. Don't torture the snake. Yeah, like how Narad Muni chastised Giridhari. If you hunting because you need to eat this animal, so just kill immediately. Why you are torturing? This is worse than animal killing, torturing the animal. So in that sense, this is my 108 pure speculation. Please don't quote me anywhere here. But in that sense, actually, we can analyze. The snake didn't get killed immediately. The snake has to suffer a lot before it dies. But when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta asked his disciple to kill the snake, means kill immediately within a second. Yeah, kill immediately within a second. And yeah, nowadays, Sachi Mataji mentioned, karmic reaction are also influenced by one's motivation. That's true. But what happened to Bhishma, again, he has no intention to harm the snake. Even he wants to save the snake by avoiding of being trampled. But that's how karma works, just like fire. You touch accidentally or you touch by intention, will get burned anyway. Anyway, let's keep that aside for now. We can have another big seminar on this separately. Yeah, because we have to move a bit faster. Okay. And then text number 17, one who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is he bound by action. So text 16, explaining about a person who is less intelligent, who think that he himself is the only doer. Yeah, and this verse is talking about an intelligent person who understand that ultimately Krishna is the sanction giver for every action. Purport. In this verse, the Lord informs Arjuna that the desire not to fight arises from false ego. Arjuna thought himself to be the doer of action, but he did not consider the supreme sanction within and without. If one does not know that a super sanction is there, why should he act? But one who knows the instruments of work, himself as the worker, and the Supreme Lord as the supreme sanctioner, is perfect in doing everything. Such a person is never in illusion. See, this is an intelligent person. Yeah, he knows that ultimately Krishna is the sanction giver. Text 18, knowledge of the object of knowledge. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the three factors that motivate action. Senses, the work, and the doer are the constituents of actions. Any work done by any human being has these elements. Before one acts, there is some impetus, which is called inspiration. Any solution arrived at before work is actualized as a subtle form of work. Then work takes the form of action. Yeah. So gyan, the object of knowledge, gyan, yeah, the knower. The knower means the soul itself and also the super soul. We learned that in the 13th chapter. Yeah, Kshetra Gyachatmamviti. Three factors that motivate actions, and that senses, work, and the doer are the three constituents of action. Okay, so this is jnana. Yeah, jnana means we know the principles of action. Yeah, these are the five factors, and ultimately the super soul is the main factor. But again, we should not blame the super soul or we should not blame Krishna when we act foolishly and suffer our karmic reaction. because we are the one who desire that action to be done. Yeah. Okay. Now text number 19. According to the three different modes of material nature, now we move to the next discussion. Yeah, how the modes of material nature are actually in control of our actions. Yeah. According to the three different modes of material nature, there are three kinds of knowledge: action and performer of action. Now hear them from me. Okay. In the 14th chapter, the three divisions of modes of material nature were elaborately described. In that chapter, it was said that the mode of goodness is illuminating the mode of passion, materialistic, and the mode of ignorance, conducive to laziness and indolence. All the modes of material nature are binding. They are not source of liberation. Even in the mode of goodness, one is conditioned. Yeah. So we have discussed this point so much in the 14th chapter, that, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned here, even the mode of goodness is binding. Anybody still remember how the mode of goodness binds us here in the material world?
Hare Krishna.
We get
Masterji.
punya out of that.
Acquiring punya.
Pranavalabha Prabhu, you want to
We
say
get
something?
punya out of it, Prabhu. That is the reason we get bind.
Yeah, same thing that Navadip Sachimataji mentioned, but pious activities. Yeah. That's true. Thank you so much. But in the 14th chapter, Srila Prabhupada elaborately explained that how these three modes binds a person. Therefore, we have to, surpass Sagunan Samatidhyaitan. We have to surpass the three modes. Specifically about the mode of goodness, how the mode of goodness binds a person, Srila Prabhupada mentioned, through knowledge and happiness. Remember that? Through knowledge and happiness. Yeah. Because the Brahmana is supposed to be in the mode of goodness. Yeah, the Brahmana is supposed to be in the mode of goodness. So Brahmana means a learned person, and he's always joyful. So now sometimes when you have so much knowledge, you see other people down. That's how you becomes blind. Through knowledge and happiness. Yeah. Complacency, yes. That's the word. Yeah. Anyway. So we have to surpass, yeah, the three modes of nature. Yeah. We have to go beyond, we have to transcend. Text 20, that knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities. Though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. Yeah. A person who sees one spirit soul in every living being, whether a demigod, human being, animal, birds, beast, aquatic, or plant, possesses knowledge in the mode of goodness. In all living entities, one spirit soul is there. Although they are different bodies, although they have different bodies in terms of their previous work, as described in the 7th chapter, the manifestation of the living force in everybody is due to the superior nature of the Supreme Lord. Thus, to see that one superior nature, that living force in everybody, is to see in the mode of goodness. Yeah. 21. That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body, that is a different type of living entity. You should understand to be in the mode of passion. The concept that material body is the living entity, and that with the destruction of the body, the consciousness is also destroyed. It's called knowledge in the mode of passion. According to that knowledge, bodies differ from one another because of the development of different types of consciousness. Otherwise, there is no separate soul which manifests consciousness. The body is itself the soul, and there is no separate soul beyond the body. So this is the vision of those who are in the mode of passion, thinking that he is the body. Yeah. Text 22. That knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of sorry, in the mode of darkness. Purport. The knowledge of the common man is always in the mode of darkness or ignorance, because every living entity is conditional life, is born into the mode of ignorance. One who does not develop knowledge through the authorities or scriptural injunctions has knowledge that is limited to the body. He is not concerned about acting in terms of the directions of the scripture. For him, God is money, and knowledge means satisfaction of bodily demands. Such knowledge has no connection with the absolute truth. It is more or less like the knowledge of the ordinary animals, the knowledge of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. So the mode of passion is degraded, and the mode of ignorance even much more degraded. Yeah. Actually, if we analyze between passion and ignorance, there's not so much difference. Yeah, because both are actually in the animalistic consciousness concerning about the body. Yeah, but the mode of ignorance is worse than the mode of passion. 23. That action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for further results is said to be in the mode of goodness. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is that I'll read through the translation and then part of the purport that I put here, and then we'll give comment toward the end, yeah, to save time, because we have discussed all these things in the 14th chapter. Purport. Regulated occupational duties as prescribed in the scriptures in terms of the different orders and divisions of society performed without attachment or proprietary rights, and therefore without any love or hatred, and performed in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of the Supreme without self-satisfaction or self-gratification are called action in the mode of goodness. 24. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desire and enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in the mode of passion. 25. That action performed in illusion, in disregard of scriptural injunction, and without concern for future bondage or for violence or distress caused to others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Purport. One has to give account of one's action to the state or to the agents of the Supreme Lord called the Yamadutas. Irresponsible work. Irresponsible work is destructive because it destroys the regulated principles of scriptural injunction. It is often based on violence and is distressing to other living entities. So this is the difference of action in the three modes. Yeah, the modes of ignorance, basically action in ugra karma. Yeah, etam dristam avastabhyam nastat manol pabuddhaya. And then how it goes. Tam distam avasthabhya nastat manol pabudaya prabhavanti ugra karmanam sayaya jagato hitaha. So prabhavanti ugra karmana. So that action is simply done to cause other living entities suffer. This is ugra karma. Sayaya jagato hitaha, and it destroy the world. Yeah, Krishna explained that in the 16th chapter, the demoniac activities. Yeah. So if we analyze the first one, the mode of goodness, that means a person acting because he's thinking that this is my duty. Even Srila Prabhupada mentioned in his purport that acting in Krishna consciousness, thinking that this is my duty, that is the mode of goodness. Why the mode of goodness? Why not consider to be a transcendental activity? Because we're still thinking that yes, this is my I'm doing this because this is my duty. But transcendental activities means I'm doing this because I want to really please Krishna. There's nothing more. Yeah, I'm doing the service because the service is given to me and I'm responsible for this. That's the mode of goodness, which is very, very good. Yeah, which is very, very good. But if this service is not given to me, I can do it and I also can relax, step back and relax. But that's really good. Yeah, the mode of goodness itself is really good. Yeah, but when we perform with the mentality that I want to please Krishna only, that's the only motivation, that's transcendental. Yeah, because sometimes we have the tendency of being lazy. I don't want to do that service because that's not my duty. Yeah, but when it is my duty, I'm responsible for that, and I must do this because this is my duty. That's mode of goodness. Yeah, but by doing this kind of service, yeah, one will be for sure purified and elevate his consciousness into transcendental consciousness. Yeah. Text 26. One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be a worker in the mode of goodness. A person in Krishna consciousness is always transcendental to the material modes of nature. He has no expectation or for the result of work entrusted to him, because he is above false ego and pride. Still, he is always enthusiastic till the completion of such work. He does not worry about the stress undertaken. He is always enthusiastic. He does not care for success or failure. He is equal in both stress and happiness. Such a worker is situated in the mode of goodness. 27. The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. Purport. A person is too much attached to a certain kind of work or to the result because he has too much attachment for materialism or heart and home, wife and children. Such a person has no desire for higher elevation in life. He is simply concerned with making this world as materially comfortable as possible. He is generally very greedy, and he thinks that everything attained by him is permanent and never to be lost. Such a person is envious of others and prepared to do anything wrong for sense gratification. So this is the mode of passion, by hook or crook, like the philosophy of Charvaka Muni. You have to eat with ghee. By stealing, by purchasing. If you don't have money, steal it. Oh no, if you don't have money, beg it. If you can beg, steal it. So by hook or crook, you have to eat nicely with ghee. By buying, by begging, or by stealing. Yeah, this is the mode of action. 28. The worker who is always engaged in work against the injunction of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance. I think in the other day I have given the example of our morning alarm. When we snooze the button, when we press the snooze button, that's actually indicating that we are influenced by the mode of ignorance. Yeah, sometimes we set the alarm and then we set up the snooze timing like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. You know, the night before we are thinking tomorrow I will get up at 3 o'clock, take bus, chant my rounds before Mangala Arati. And then 3 o'clock, the alarm rings and we just keep snoozing up to 1 hour. This is the mode of ignorance. Yeah, that is called laziness. Procrastinating means to postpone what's supposed to be done. Sometimes we think like this, okay, let me do it later. And then again, tomorrow comes, oh, let me do it later. I still have time. And finally, in the last minute, we freak out. So that's the mode of ignorance. Yeah, laziness. Basically, ignorant means too much sleeping, laziness. Yeah. Okay. 29. O winner of wealth, now listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of nature. Yeah. Text 30. O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows that should be done and what ought to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. Yeah. Performing action in terms of the direction of the scriptures is called pravriti, or executing action that deserve to be performed. And action which are not so directed are not to be performed. One who does not know the scriptural directions becomes entangled in the actions and reactions of work. Understanding which discriminates by intelligence is situated in the mode of goodness. Okay. 31. O son of Pritha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. Yeah. This is also described in the chapter 16. Yeah. Pravritim cha nivritim cha janana vidura ashura. So janana vidu, they don't know what needs to be done and what not to be done. Yeah. Yes, Navadip Sachi Mataji, you have a question on Pravritim.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu. I have a little doubt if you can clarify this. So, can we say that pravriti is a positive affirmation of what needs to be done, what's the right thing to do, versus nivriti is like a negation? So, I mean, can we say that Bhakti Yoga focuses more on pravriti and Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga focuses more on nivriti, or is that the wrong way to look at it?
Sometimes these two terms, pravriti and nivriti, explain in different way according to its context.
Mm.
Have you read? I mean, when we're talking here about pravriti and nivriti, in a simple term, we can say pravriti, as you mentioned, yes, what's supposed to be done,
Yes.
and then nivriti is what not supposed to be done. Yeah. But in some other places, let's take for example, like in the you have studied the nectar of devotion. Yeah. So there are 64 angas of bhakti. Yeah. So the first 10 is called the pravriti, the injunction. And then the second 10 from 11 to 20 is called nivriti or negation. Yeah? So these two terms can be explained differently in different way according to its context. Yeah, but basically, if you talk about, but how I put this, when you say that, can we define priority as bhakti and then nivriti as dhyana? Um, that is actually not an absolute statement because you can analyze that through different angle. Yeah, because in that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the second 10 of the 64 angas is nivriti, and that is bhakti. Don't do this. For example, like what is that verse? Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Yeah, so this is pravriti and nivriti. Smartavaya satatam visnur vismartavyo na jatuchit. So the first one is pravriti, and the second one is nivriti. But both are bhakti. So we cannot make that statement absolute. Yeah.
Right, because I mean, when we answer the question on what's the differences between impersonalism or Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, one of the answers that we give is engage the senses, and the opposite of that is restrain the senses.
Mm.
So I just felt that the Bhakti focuses more on the do's, and then naturally, if you focus on the do's, you eliminate the don'ts, so to speak.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit tricky part of discussion, but I put it in that way, you know. So these two terms can be explained in the different ways according to its context. As simple as that, you know, the do's and the don'ts. Yeah, what should be done and what not to be done, like this, you know. For example, like we should chant the 16 rounds. That is the priority, and then the nivriti is the 4 principles. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication. Yeah, it is kind of yama and niyama. This is from Pranavalabha Prabhu. Yama and niyama. Yeah, you can say like that also because yama is in the Ashtanga Yoga system. You have studied this in the 6th chapter. Yeah, the Ashtanga Yoga system, like the first two things are yama and niyama. That actually deals with how we behave in the society. Mostly how we deal with the society. Yama is like good action, and then niyama is restraining. Yeah, that's how we can understand it. Different context. You know, you can analyze it through different angles, but basically that's what that means. Should be done and not to be done. Therefore, like in the 16th chapter, the verse that I just quoted, so written cha, written cha, janana viduraj. So the demons, they don't know what should be done and what not to be done. Yeah. Did we read this?
And also
Sarah,
Rupa Goswami says,
yeah,
sorry,
please.
Prabhu. And also Rupa Goswami says the first thing in spiritual progress is to control the senses.
Mm.
In the introduction, anyway.
Yeah. Thank you. 31. O son of Pritha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion. Oh, we have read this. Between action that should be done and action that should not be done is in the mode of action. Okay. 1832. That understanding which consider religion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance. Yeah. Third point, intelligence in the mode of ignorance is always working the opposite of the way it should. It accepts religions which are not actually religions and rejects actual religion. Man in ignorance understand a great soul to be a common man and accept a common man as a great soul. They think truth to be untruth and accept truth as and accept untruth as truth. Yeah. So this is ignorance. Adharmam dharmam itya. Considering adharma to be dharma and dharma to be adharma. Yeah. So completely on the opposite way of action. Yeah. We have seen this many times. Yeah. Some people worship another person, ordinary human being, to be God. Yeah. I think in one of the purport, I don't remember exactly in which chapter, which verse, Srila Prabhupada talks about some people are worshipping Hitler. Have you come across on that purport? Some people are worshipping Hitler. So this is the mode of ignorance.
I think that's chapter 16.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the divine and demoniac nature. Yes, chapter 16. Some people are worshipping Hitler. Thank you. 33. O son of Prita, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination, the mode of goodness. So yoga means to understand the Supreme Soul, one who is steadily fixed in the Supreme Soul with determination, concentrating one's mind, life, and sensory activities of the Supreme, engages in Krishna consciousness. That sort of determination is in the mode of goodness. Yeah. So I put here the quote from Surrender unto me. Buddhi, intelligence or understanding, is in the mode of goodness when it recognizes and engages in a religious act. Driti, determination, is that which makes the intelligence firm in its decisions. Determination that prevents us from performing degrading actions is also in the mode of goodness. Yeah, because we are constantly urged by Maya to do some abominable action. But if we can tolerate that with our firm determination, with the Dridha Vrata, yeah, firm determination, then we are safe. So that is action in the mode of goodness. Yeah, determination in the mode of goodness. 34. But that determination which one holds fast to further result in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of nature of patient, O Arjuna. Any person who is always desirous of further results in religious or economic activities, whose only desire is sense gratification, and whose mind, life, and senses are thus engaged in the mode of passion. Yeah, this is the determination in the mode of passion. Wanting sense gratification. Yeah, too much. Text 35. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming. Beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such in unintelligent determination, O son of Prita, is in the mode of darkness. It should not be concluded that a person in the mode of goodness does not dream. Here, dream means too much sleep. Dreaming is always present, either in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. Dreaming is natural occurrence. But those who cannot avoid oversleeping, who cannot avoid the pride of enjoying material objects, who are always dreaming of lording over the material world, and whose life, mind, and senses are thus engaged, are considered to have determination in the mode of ignorance. Yeah. So sadness, laziness, Dreaming, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned here, dreaming means oversleeping, too much sleeping. Yeah. So that's the mode of ignorance. We have discussed this. 36. O bears of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness, which the conditioned soul enjoys, and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. 37. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Yeah. So struggle in the beginning, and then sweetness at the end. This is the mode of goodness. Yeah. Just like amalaki. If you bite the amalaki, you feel it like bitter, sour, but keep doing it, you will taste the sweetness at the end. Yeah. 38. That happiness, which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be the nature of patience. Yeah, sweet in the beginning and then bitter at the end. This is the mode of patience. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada, whenever he talks about mode of patience, so he, most of the time in this lecture, he quoted the verse from the seventh canto by Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah. Yan maitunadi grihame nisukam hitu cham kandu yanena karayor iwadu kaduka. So just like an itching sensation. Kandu yanena karayor iwadu kaduka. When you get itching, you scratch it, you feel nice. But the more you scratch, finally blood comes. Yeah. Have you watched the Prabhupada memory series by His Grace Atma Tattva Prabhu? Yeah. Maybe I'll share in the WhatsApp group. That's nice to watch, you know, where he narrates his story with Srila Prabhupada, how when he took initiation, so he got infection in his mouth, you know, so he didn't brush his teeth, so he just rinse and gargle his mouth with salt and hot water. And then during the initiation, so Srila Prabhupada was asking, so what are the four regulative principles? So when he said no meat eating, because his mouth was this close with Srila Prabhupada's nose, Srila Prabhupada was closing his eyes, and he, you know, like draw his body back, and he opened his eyes. Of course, they were talking in Hindi. I cannot quote that. But Prabhupada asking, so you are not brushing your teeth properly. And then Atma Tattva Prabhu said that infection, Srila Prabhupada. Oh, infection. And Prabhupada gave the big chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna. So he thought that, okay, material life is the infection, and the chanting of the holy name is the medicine. And then during a class, so he was fanning Prabhupada. That is one of his favorite service, because that's how he can get close to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada gave class, and then he was quoting this verse. Oh, he gave the name. Oh, so now your name is Atma Tattva. And then Prabhupada quoted the verse from the Bhagavatam. Grihesu grihamedi. No, that's how that verse. Apashyatam Atma Tattvam Grihesu grihamedi. So Atma Tattva, he gave the name. And then when he was fanning Prabhupada during a class, So Prabhupada talking about this verse, and then Prabhupada was wearing a kurta with a long sleeve, so he just pulled his kurta like this, showing that just like itching, itching, you scratch it, you feel nice, but you scratch, and then finally you stop. Not because you find the enjoyment, but blood. Prabhupada explained it. And then Prabhupada looked at him, and then Prabhupada said, that is infection. That is infection. Anyway, I'll send you the link. I recommend to watch this. Interesting. Anyway, so that's the mode of passion. Yeah, happiness, enjoyment in the mode of passion. So sweetness in the beginning, and then bitterness at the end. But the mode of ignorance is always bitter. Yeah, we'll see that. Text 39. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delicious from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Yeah. Prabhupada said, one who takes pleasure in laziness and in sleep is certainly in a mode of darkness, ignorance. And one who has no idea how to act and how not to act is also in the mode of ignorance. For the person in the mode of ignorance, everything is illusion. There is no happiness either in the beginning or at the end. For the person in the mode of passion, there is might some kind of ephemeral happiness in the beginning, and at the end distress. But for the person in the mode of ignorance, there is only distress, both in the beginning and at the end. Yeah. So there's no happiness actually for a person in the mode of ignorance. Always distress. Yeah. Text 40. There's no being existing, either here or amongst the demigods in the higher planetary system, which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. Yeah. The Lord here summarizes the total influence of the three modes of material nature all over the universe. So, conclusion here is that everybody, including Lord Brahma himself, will be influenced by the three modes of material nature. Yeah, will be influenced. Doesn't matter who. Yeah. So up to this point, we have discussed about jnana, which is the first part of our discussion about the five factors of action. And ultimately, Krishna is the ultimate sanction giver by which every action will happen. And then how the three modes of material nature influencing one's activities, one's determination, and one's happiness. Okay. So before we move ahead, any question? Okay, good.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Okay, yes. Pranavala Prabhu, please.
Prabhu, actually, Lord Vishnu is the in charge of mode of goodness, and Brahma is mode of passion, and Lord Shiva is ignorance, in charge of ignorance. So, but
Yeah.
they don't come under those modes, right? They're in charge of those modes. So, how are they coming? I mean, how are they getting affected by the modes of material nature? Their Brahma will get affected by mode of passion, mode of goodness, and Lord Shiva is passion and goodness, or like that, or how do you understand?
Yes. I got your point. So thank you. So these three guna avatars, yeah, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. These are the three guna avatars, and each of these personality, they are in charge of the three modes. But here is the explanation. Lord Vishnu is in the mode of good, in charge of the mode of goodness, And then Shiva is ignorance and Brahma is passion, because Brahma is creating, Shiva is destroying. Yeah. But the explanation is both Shiva and Brahma, although they are in charge of the modes of passion and ignorance, sometimes they become influenced because they are associating with that modes. Of course, we understand that the Srimad Bhagavatam explained that Lord Brahma's body, imagine Lord Brahma's body is made only uh, from intelligence. Lord Brahma's body made of intelligence only. But still, sometimes he becomes influenced by the lower modes of material nature. Yeah, because they are associating with that mode. Yeah. But of course, in any event, let's say in any event, whenever they seems to be affected by the modes, by the lower modes of material nature, we should not judge them to be fallen. Yeah, because there is the plan of the Lord actually to teach us that look, even great personalities still can be influenced by the lower modes of nature. For example, like when Brahma bewildered by Krishna and then he steals the gopas and the cow and the calf. That's one instance. And then when Shiva was becoming so lusty by seeing the Mohini Murti, Srila Prabhupada's purport there I think that's in the 9th canto. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada's purport there explaining that we should not judge Shiva to be fallen. This is just the plan of the Lord just to teach us that even a great personality can also sometimes affected by the lower mode of material nature. But the thing is that a Mahabhagavata will always come back immediately to their fixed position in devotional service. Yeah. So amongst these three guna avatars, only Lord Vishnu is absolutely transcendental, while Brahma and Shiva sometimes, although they are Mahajanas, but sometimes they may get affected by the modes of material nature, especially ignorance and passion. Therefore, the purport here is that there is no loophole for us here. There is no loophole for us here. Sometimes we think, oh, today I went for Mangalarati. I think I will have a good day today. Yeah, but in every step there is a loophole. Padam padam yadvi padam. There is dangers. So we should be very careful. But analyzing these two personalities like Brahma and Shiva, we should, never think that they are falling down, because that is part of the Lord's Leela in order to teach us here the conditions, so to teach us here, no matter how great we are. Still, we are under the engagement of material nature, and material nature is the divine nature of the Lord. So like that. But if we see in any pastimes, Brahma and Shiva always come back immediately to their fixed position of devotional service. Yeah. Like that in one of the Puranas, it is described that actually our Lord Brahma, yeah, our Lord Brahma, of course, this is probably in the different millennium of creation. One time Brahma, he has 5 heads. Of course, in the beginning, he has 4 heads. Yeah, he has 4 heads, and then when he became lusty, oh, that this is how it was. I read that one time. So he has 1 head, and then when he created his daughter, he became lusty, and then he was chasing after his daughter, and his daughter running to all the direction. That's how he manifests another 3 heads in order to see his daughter. And then when his daughter goes upward, seeking protection to Lord Shiva, so he manifests the 5th head. And then Lord Shiva just chop off that head, which goes upward. So Brahma cannot see her anymore. But immediately Brahma feel ashamed Brahma feel ashamed and give up dead body and entering into another Brahma's body. But in any case, we should not judge great personalities when they seems to be bewildered, because that is part of the Lord's Leela in order to teach us. Yeah. So they get influenced because they are associating with that modes in which actually they taken care of. Yeah. But Lord Vishnu is always remain transcendental. Therefore, he never get the influence of the modes. Completely transcendental. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. So we have around 20 minutes from now. Am I still connected?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yeah, because my electricity went off, so I'm not able to share my screen here. So I'll just read it through, okay? Yeah. So from text 41 to 48, the topic being discussed is worshipping Krishna through one's work. Again, we will deal with karma yoga here. And then from text 49 to 55, from Jnana Yoga to pure devotional service. So there is a transition here. Yeah. Let's touch this briefly. So this aspect from 41 to 48 deals also with the Varnashram system. Yeah. So text 41, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own nature in accordance with the material modes or chastiser of the enemy. Yeah. So text 42, the famous verse, Samo Dhammastapa Saucham Shantir Arjavam Evacha Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. So peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Yeah. So the Brahmanas work is mostly in teaching, yeah, studying and teaching, yeah, cultivating knowledge and teaching it. So that's the main occupation of Brahmanas. Of course, we know there are 6 occupations of Brahmanas, yeah, but the foremost thing is the first 2, yeah, studying and then teaching. That is Brahmanicum. Therefore, in order to study and teach, a Brahmana should cultivate these qualities, yeah, Samodhamastapasa. And then 43, about the Kshatriya, yeah, heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Yeah, especially the courage in the battle. This is the Kshatriya mentality. Kshatriya never retreat from the battle. Yeah, whenever the Kshatriya is being challenged, immediately he will accept, because not accepting challenge means actually a big insult for a Kshatriya. So a Kshatriya would prefer to die in the battle rather than go home as a loser. This is Kshatriya mentality. And of course, management is part of Kshatriya's duty, yeah, Kshatriya's work. And then text 44, this is about Vaishya and Shudra. Yeah? Rishi Gorachavanijam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam Paricharayamakam Karma Shudras Yapi Swabhavajam. Yeah. Farming, crop protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, and for the Shudras, there is labor and service to others. So here, the word Vanijam is translated as business, but Vanijam means actually trading. Of course, nowadays this word trading is being abused, but what it means in the previous age, like in that millennium, trading means barter. Yeah? Barter. We have exchange of some goods. There's no cash. There's no cash. There's no online transfer. We use the barter system, and the principle is that we can trade. We can trade only whatever excess that we have. So nowadays, of course, like these two aspects, Krishi and Goraksha, is mostly neglected. Yeah, the whole world is going to the industrialism. Yeah, but even the farmer also nowadays, they are producing mostly for the sale. Yeah, for trading. Actually, as Srila Prabhupada explained, that's not actually the best practice. Because we are producing something, first of all, for our own needs. Yeah, for our own needs, taking care of our own needs. And then whatever excess that we get, that can be traded. So that's the principle. And then for Sudra, labor and service to others. Yeah. Sudra means, therefore, we heard many times that Sudra, they don't need education. Sudra, they don't go to Gurukul because they just need to serve others under the guidance of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas. And then 45, by following these qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can. Or is by worshiping the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is his own word. Yeah. So if the Sudra can be perfected, yeah, provided he performed devotional service to the Lord. Even one time, one very senior devotee explained to me that actually having a Sudra mentality is actually very conducive in our devotional service. How? Because Sudra means you're ready to work, you're ready to serve, you will be always humble. Sometimes we think that, oh, I want to become Brahmana, I want to become Brahmana, or I want to become the Kshatriya who managed the temple. Yeah, but sometimes we don't want to be called Sudra, but actually Sudra mentality is very conducive for devotional service because we always bowing our head and uh, put our hands together like this and ready to serve. So all the varnas can be perfected provided they are worshipping the Supreme Personality of God. Text number 47. This is the famous verse also. Sriyan Swadharma Viguna Paradharma Svanosita Swabhava Niyatam Karma Kurvan Nautikil Visham. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature and never affected by sinful reactions. In the third chapter, Krishna mentioned the same thing. The first two lines, yeah, Svayanso Dharma Viguna Paradharma Svansvita. But the third and the fourth one slightly different, where he mentioned that Swabhava Niyatam Sreyan Paradharmo Bhayavaha. That means performing others' occupation is dangerous. But here Krishna mentioning that duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reaction. So sometimes the devotee is asking, like, many devotees bewildered by this verse. Yeah, what does it mean when we engage in others' duty perfectly. So better to perform one's own duties, although it is imperfect, rather than performing others' duty perfectly. What does it mean? So Krishna just want to emphasize here that if you cannot perform your duty perfectly, so naturally you will not be able to perform others' duty perfectly. Yeah. So better to stick on your duty, yeah, according to your guna and karma. Yeah, according to your guna and karma. So for Arjuna, the best thing to do is to fight under the instruction of the Lord. Yeah, to fight to protect dharma. Performing someone else's duty is not purifying. That's also because you are trying to steal here. You are stealing. You try to grab somebody's activities. Now don't ask me what about while performing devotional service. Devotional service is transcendental. Yeah, devotional service is transcendental. But it doesn't mean that you can act whimsically while performing service also. Not that you are taking somebody else's service without their permissions. Yeah. So we have a culture also while performing devotional service. Yeah. In this section, we are completely talking about on the material level. Yeah, on the varnashrama. 48. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature. O son of Kunti, even such work is full of fault. So every action, there will be some mistake. But if that is your nature to do that, so you have to carry on with that. Yeah. And then now from 49 to 55, the transition from jnana to pure devotional service. Yeah, 49. One who is self-controlled and unattached, and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada mentioned a sannyasi is supposed to be free from reactions of his past activities, but a person who is in Krishna consciousness automatically attains the perfection without even accepting the so-called order of renunciation. This state of mind is called yoga rudha, or the perfectional stage of yoga. Yeah. So in the chapter 6, yeah, if you remember, you're studying the Yoga Ruruksu and Yoga Rudha. Yoga Ruruksu means the beginning stage of the yoga system, and then Yoga Rudha means the perfected stage. Yeah. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned here that if a person is remaining in Krishna consciousness, he already attained perfection without taking sannyas order of life. Yeah. So there are 4 things that grihastha should be done. Srila Prabhupada explained there are 4 things that a grihastha should be done. First thing is that chanting, kirtan, chanting together with the family members, worshipping the deities, partaking the prasadam, and discussing about Krishna Katha. Prabhupada explained, if the grihasthas perform these 4 activities, there is no need for the father, who is the leader of the family, to take sannyas, because that house is as good as Vaikuntha. Yeah. Text 15. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. Okay. 51 to 53. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from being freed from attachment and hatred. One who lives in the secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance, and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorships, and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. Yeah. And then text 54. This is the classic verse also. Brahma Bhuta Prashanatma Na Sochati Na Kamsati Sama Sarveshu Bhutesu Madbhaktim Labhati. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service to me. Yeah. Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. Meaning the realization of a person is elevated. Yeah. So a transcendentalist also different kinds of transcendence. There are different levels of realization of being self-realized or transcendentalist. Even the Mayavadi can be also considered as a transcendentalist. As soon as one realizes that he's not the body, that means he's a self-realized. Yeah, he's a self-realized. But here, when one is sincerely inquiring about the absolute truth unto the higher level, then, as Krishna mentioned here, Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. In that stage, yeah, one will attain pure devotional service to Krishna. So the jnana, the knowledge, is developed, not only limited up to that one is not the body, yeah, but he understands also the Sambandha Tattva, Avidya Tattva, and Prayojana Tattva. 55. Bhaktya mama vijanati yavanya chasvitatvrataha tato mam tadvato gyatva visatita anantara. Yeah, this is how we understand Krishna, only through bhakti. Yeah. One can understand me as I am, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Yeah. So tato mam tatvato gyatva, understanding Krishna tattva, visate dad anantaram. So he can enter into the kingdom of God. Because without understanding of God or Krishna, so one cannot attain his abode. As easy as that. Srila Prabhupada mentioned here, one should not mistakenly think that the word visate enters into me, yeah, enters into me, support the monist theory that one becomes homogeneous with the impersonal Brahman. No, visate means that one can enter into the abode of the Supreme Lord in one's individuality to engage in his association and render service unto him. Yeah, many times we heard the explanation of the green bird enters into a green tree. It doesn't mean that the green bird loses his identity. Yeah, doesn't mean that he merges there, but he remains as an individual part and enjoying the fruits of the tree. Yeah, making nests and whatever. So that's the understanding here. The word visate doesn't mean that we merge into Brahman. No, visate means we enter into the kingdom of God. We're not entering the body of God. Yeah, we are entering the kingdom of God. Okay. It's 7 o'clock now. Give me another 5 minutes. I will just run through this. Or Yeah,
Can I recommend something if it is
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Can we
Sure,
have
sure.
our last class on Saturday because the rest of
Oh,
the
that would
devotees
be,
will come,
yeah.
and
So
we'll have an
we don't have.
opportunity to also express our gratitude to you. You've just helped us so much. Um, come to the conclusion. So it'd be nice if we can have the last class on Saturday.
Yeah. That's, I think, a better idea rather than I round up this. How many verses left from
So that
5
we can have acknowledgements also for you, Prabhu.
7, 8? More than, yeah, there are 22 slokas. Yeah, we can have it on Saturday. So Saturday will be our last session. So we'll end up here for now. So thank you so much, all the devotees, those who are present here.